All right, everybody, welcome back to another deep dive.
Mhm.
Today we're looking into the fascinating story of a one-of-a-kind aircraft. It's called the Conroy Skymonster,
Okay.
and its journey spans over 50 years.
Oh.
From its innovative design to kind of sad ending. We've got some excerpts from an article detailing the plane's history. And trust me, this wasn't your average passenger plane.
Oh.
This thing was built to haul serious cargo, like jet engines.
Interesting.
The really crazy part is, only one was ever made. So we're going to dig into what made it so special, explore its time in service, and uncover why it was ultimately dismantled.
That's good.
So, really what set this Skymonster apart?
Well, the Conroy Skymonster was really in a league of its own. What made it unique was its size and how it all came together back in the 1960s.
Right.
They started with a Canadair CL-44 freighter, kind of like your standard cargo plane workhorse.
Right.
But they turned it into something truly massive to carry those super bulky items. And they
Yeah.
did this they basically expanded the fuselage to a diameter of over 16 feet. This allowed it to carry massive things, like Rolls-Royce jet engines.
Those things are huge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These engines wouldn't fit in your average cargo plane. And that's why they needed the Skymonster's unique design.
That's incredible. Expanding a plane like that, it must have been a massive engineering challenge.
It was a pretty remarkable feat of engineering. They had to reinforce the structure, redesign the cargo loading systems, a whole lot of modifications.
And you said it was the only one?
It was truly one of a kind, custom built for a very specific need.
That's what makes this story so interesting.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just a plane. It was like proof of what's possible. When you combine innovation with a specific goal.
Exactly.
When did it first take flight?
Its maiden flight was back in 1969, and it kept flying for quite a while until 1999.
A 30-year career. That's impressive.
Yeah, it really is.
So it wasn't just a cool idea that never got used. It actually worked.
It was a workhorse for 3 decades.
Makes you wonder what kind of challenges a plane like this faced.
Well, operating such a specialized aircraft definitely came with its share of hurdles.
Like what?
Well, just finding suitable runways and hangars could
Yeah.
be tricky.
I bet.
And the maintenance costs must have been significant.
I can only imagine. Now, the article mentions that it ended up at Bournemouth Airport in 2002
That's right.
and stayed there until recently. What happened during that time?
Well, initially there was hope that the Skymonster could be restored.
Okay.
Bournemouth Airport had those plans. And of course, aviation enthusiasts were eager to save it.
Makes sense.
But restoring an aircraft like that, especially one as unique as the Skymonster, it's a massive undertaking.
I can see that.
You're talking about sourcing rare parts, finding qualified engineers
Yeah.
familiar with its design,
Yeah.
and navigating all the legal and safety regulations. It all adds up to a pretty hefty price tag, and unfortunately, the funds just weren't available.
So even if you have people passionate about saving it, the logistics and cost can be a deal breaker.
Exactly.
You'd think museums would be all over.
You would think so, wouldn't you? The Bournemouth Aviation Museum was particularly keen. They were right next door to where the Skymonster was stored.
Wow.
But museums face their own hurdles.
Like what?
Space is a big one.
That makes sense.
Where do you put a plane of that size?
Yeah.
And even if you have the space, can you afford the upkeep?
Good point.
It's an ongoing challenge.
So what happened to the Skymonster in the end?
Sadly, the Skymonster was dismantled. I'm sure that was a tough decision.
I bet it was.
As the years went by, its condition just deteriorated, corrosion set in, parts became harder to find, and the cost of keeping it safe kept rising. Bournemouth Airport really tried to find it a new home, but ultimately they had to make that tough call.
It's heartbreaking, but it sounds like it was unavoidable.
It was a difficult situation, but there were some positive outcomes.
Right?
Some of its parts will live on. Certain components are going to be displayed at the South Wales Aviation Museum. It'll give people a chance to see the ingenuity behind its design. And other parts will be used to help preserve other historic aircraft around the world.
So the Skymonster's legacy continues,
In a way, yes.
contributing to the preservation of aviation history.
Exactly.
It makes you think, with all the advances we see in aviation today, will we ever see another plane as unique and specialized?
It's a good question. The Skymonster was a product of its time, a solution to a very specific problem. Today, the focus is on efficiency and versatility. While we might not see another one exactly like it, its story reminds us that innovation can take many forms, and that sometimes. The most remarkable tools are the ones that are highly specialized.